As we suggest to wait for 3-5 minutes for other people to come, and then we will start in 5 minutes.
Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Nastya. I will moderate today event, Blockchain Day. Particularly it's evening, but we will together enjoy a company of several speakers today. We will talk about crypto economics, blockchain trends and technology. And in the end of this evening, we will enjoy and will encourage you to stay with us for networking, to build connections, and to exchange our ideas and new feelings and thoughts after this event. So to start, I would like to invite on this stage CEO of this company, IMAGURU Startup Hub, Tanya Marinic, who will tell you a little bit more about this hub and company. So Tanya, you're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nastya. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being with us here. I guess many of you are first comers, first time here at IMAGURU at this space, and in general, very new to IMAGURU concept. So I'm here to tell you a bit more about what is IMAGURU and what in particular we are doing here in Madrid and why we're here, why we're in Spain. You can imagine Nastya and myself, we are co-founders, and we are from Belarus, from Minsk. So we were born there. Currently, I live here in Madrid, and I'm graduated from IE Business School here. I got my MBA at IE Business School. And and the life is so that I live here in Madrid. Nastya is in charge of Minsk office. IMAGURU Minsk office in Belarus. And definitely, we started in Minsk. IMAGURU business started in Minsk. So what is IMAGURU? Well, IMAGURU is one of the most famous Eastern European startup hubs. What we do, we work with startups, we work with technology, in particular blockchain, which is very recent, and I will talk about it a bit later. As you may see, IMAGURU is 5 years old. We created the company 5 years back. And during these 5 years, we were able to help 250 startups, which were acquired with $100+ million and were sold to various companies, corporates. I would like to mention one of our recent and most international success stories, which is Masquerade. That's the team, Masquerade team. As you can imagine, from the word masquerade, the word comes from mask. It's image recognition company, which many of you, I think, a couple of years ago, were able to use on Facebook and maybe even currently use it. So the app which allows you to change your face wearing kind of different masks. So, and that's the story. The story is very simple. This team, these guys gathered together at the hackathon at IMAGURU. It was in November 2015. They got together. They created the very first prototype, then started working very hard to build the company, actually, and to find customers. And 4 months later, only 4 months later, they were acquired by Facebook. Can you imagine such a speed, such a amazing story where, you know, that proves to us the reason we do a lot of hackathons, kind of a tool to help companies being born and help companies actually get together and go with their product to the market. As I mentioned before, our core customers, startups, techies, we call so-called techies, engineers, developers, definitely corporates and investors, and even kind of social responsibility. We organize a lot of courses for teenagers and kids. A lot of courses about entrepreneurship and coding. Co-working space here in Madrid is very, very new. So we just launched it in December last year. In Minsk, as I mentioned, it's old. It's 5 years. We opened it five years back, and as you can see from the picture, 100+ co-workers work with us on everyday basis, and we organize every day almost 4 or 5 events. So around 500 events a year. The community is very big. We're visited by 10,000 people every month. That's, yeah, I mentioned already hackathons, and that the reason why we organize hackathons, we find it a very effective tool to build companies. Altogether, we organized 60+ hackathons during 5 years operations. And we are proud to say we already organized the very first hackathon here in Madrid last December, which was focused on blockchain, and we call it blockchain ton, actually, blockchain ton. The next blockchain ton will be here very soon, in 10 days, actually. The following week, not next week, the following week, on April 2022. Another very important aspect, and I think Nastya will talk later in details about it, is Coding Academy. Recently, we launched a blockchain course, blockchain school within Coding Academy, which helps real developers, I mean traditional developers, become blockchain developers. That's what we do in Minsk, and that's what we are planning to do here in Madrid. Blockchain Lab, again, a very new and recent IMAGURU initiative. That's a combination of various tools, including the school, education, hackathons, and outsourcing. So IMAGURU has its own team in residence, I mean in blockchain developers in residence, working every day with us in our offices, and we help corporate startups build blockchain products. Well, again, our future plans regarding Madrid community, and we are very happy to help develop blockchain community here. I know there are so many groups working on blockchain initiatives here, and we're trying to be involved and partner with everyone, including IE Business School. So the coding school, as I mentioned, we will organize the coding school in 2 formats here. The one is 1 month format, and kind of pilot format will be a weekend school, which means that it's only 3 days, very short, but during 3 days you can learn how to build a smart contract. That's a very, very practical thing. So there is no, well, minimum theory, not at all theory, I wouldn't say, but minimum theory, and actually all of our developers come together just to work with you on every hour basis, building products. Again, I would like to mention our Blockchain Tone initiative, which we organize for the 2nd time in Madrid here. Our December Blockchain Tone was very, very successful. We were happy to introduce some of our team's winners of the Blockchain Ton to our corporate partners, Daimler, who were here in our office, and they were happy to partner with the winner of Blockchain Ton. Daimler Corporation from Germany will come here to support and to see the startups which will be born during the hackathon in April. So if you have interest, I would like to invite you, all of you, to participate as a developer, as a just entrepreneur, or just a person who has an idea and would like to create a team. I would like to mention that the hackathon will be organized in parallel in Minsk and Madrid. So just in case you need extra help, let's say extra developer to your team, you can be connected and work online with our developers based in Belarus. That's our team, Nastya and myself, co-founders of IMAGURU, and I'm very happy to actually answer your questions, but I guess we'll have, as Nastya mentioned, we'll have a networking time, so we'll definitely discuss, speak. I would like this evening to be not just, a master class when we talk here from this stage, but I would like all of us to interact together, share ideas, opinions about blockchain economy, blockchain tools, blockchain technology. So enjoy this evening. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Let's go on with our speakers, and we're happy to invite on the stage Marina Gurieva, who is the CEO of Cyber Fund. This is an organization which has a lot of initiative projects inside. And actually, this is one of the very much experience, and this is an organization which has an expertise in Europe in blockchain. So I need at least 1 minute to prepare your presentation, but Marina, you are welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to see you here. I am the second time in Madrid here at IMAGURU, and I know that a lot is happening in Spain in terms of blockchain, but not here in Madrid and Barcelona. I do hope that we will see more projects coming from Madrid as well. So I'm representing Cyberfund, and we've been actively involved in blockchain space, so to say, since 2014. We've been analyzing this space, we've been investing in different blockchains, and we've been developing different blockchains. So we have quite an expertise, and I will share some knowledge with you today. So blockchain economy, but we will start with this nice slide, Google Trends. So as you can see, we had two spikes in 2013 and in 2017 in terms of interest to this area. And as you probably know, they were both connected to the Bitcoin price. So in 2013, the Bitcoin price grew to $1,000, and in 2017 to $20,000. So this is what we have when the price grows. But then, so afterwards, the interest declines usually. However, blockchain is much more than just a price. So these are the characteristics of different blockchains, and it would be nice for you to know them, just to be able to understand what we're talking about when we're talking about blockchains. So blockchains are programmed, and there is always an algorithm inside, so it's not a magic. And they basically are databases, unchangeable databases, and distributed databases. So you can write down any information you want, but you can't erase any information from there. They do have inbuilt consensus mechanisms, so the databases have to be built somehow, and they're built using different consensus mechanisms. So these mechanisms, they're not similar, they're different. It's worth knowing. Then they do have native tokens. And these tokens, basically, they provide you an access to the blockchain. Without Bitcoins, you can't access Bitcoin blockchain. So you can't do anything with the Bitcoin blockchain. So you need Bitcoins for that. It's a very important thing. And then you do have public and private keys, and you need them to run your tokens, basically, any tokens that you have on any blockchain. Without private key, you own nothing, because the private key is the most important thing in terms of ownership. So blockchains are open source, and it's very important thing because they could be copied, they could be forked, and they could be improved very easily. And the growth that we see right now in this particular space is thanks to this particular feature. It's very easy to find any blockchain on GitHub and then just to analyze it and to fork it and do your own blockchain based on what you see on GitHub. Then another thing, very important thing as well, smart contracts. Not all blockchains have smart contracts, but then those that do have, they're very successful, because smart contracts basically are the programmable contracts, and they allow you to program any operations, any economic operations on a blockchain. And they're very important indeed. Because as we see right now, a lot of people call blockchains the next internet due to smart contracts. Because smart contracts enable autonomous devices, and then they enable decentralized autonomous organizations. And it's very important because we all know that we will be living in an automated, fully automated world very soon. So you will have driverless cars going to not gasoline but electricity stations, and just paying for electricity by themselves. And you will see autonomous plants, factories, etc., etc. And they all will be economic agents acting by their own. And it's very important because everything is possible on blockchain due to the properties that we talked earlier: tokens and smart contracts and unchangeable databases. Coming back to market. So last year, we saw a very, very nice capitalization, I would say so. The market grew to more than 600 billions of US dollars. But what is more important is that we saw a decline in Bitcoin share. So right now we have more different blockchains than we had in 2016 or 2015. A lot of these blockchains are in development stage, but we do see more blockchains than just forks of Bitcoin, so to say. And it's very important because this space is growing not thanks to Bitcoin, but to other blockchains as well. So professionals started talking about blockchains as assets last year. And this is a slide with the comparison between traditional financial assets and blockchain assets. As you can see, there are lots of similarities. And then there are the features that are native to blockchain, so to say. Open source code, programmability, auditability. So it's very easy to audit any blockchain because they're public. So you can do it by yourself. You can monitor them by yourself. And accessibility. So even if you have $1 or a cent, you can invest into blockchains. And it's very important because there are almost no barriers for anybody in terms of investment into this space. Definitely. When we're talking about blockchains as assets, so now we have to compare returns. And this is a nice comparison of different returns. So on different assets, as you can see from this slide, so it was very profitable to own the blockchains in 2016, and it was really very, very profitable to do so in 2017. So, however, blockchains are more than money once again. So the usage of blockchains. The proxy that shows us how different blockchains are used are the number of transactions in different blockchains. And so we see here different blockchains that are launched and are working. And so as you can see from this slide, there are two types of blockchains that are popular, so to say, and in use. Social network blockchains, Steemit and Gallus. So Steemit is the leader in terms of transactions. These blockchains are aimed at the end users. So Steemit basically is comparable to Facebook or Medium. But there you are paid by the system for your posts and for your likes. So, and they are growing quite quickly. So the second type of blockchains is Ethereum blockchain and system similar to Ethereum, because these blockchains provide nice features, inbuilt smart contracts, and these blockchains are used to build blockchain applications upon them. And Ethereum is growing, as you can see from this slide as well, in terms of transactions. Okay, so now we will look a little bit deeper at two major blockchains, Bitcoin and Ethereum, just for you to learn some nice things. This is the price for Bitcoin. As you can see from this slide, it's very volatile, and it's normal because we're dealing with early stage product. And you can compare Bitcoin and any other blockchain with any startup you know, and it's quite normal if you have ups and downs for a product that is at an early stage. So, and what is important, that the price of Bitcoin is highly affected by the news, bad and good news. So, why? Because the news basically affect the adoption of blockchains. However, there are some other parameters that we monitor constantly, and these parameters had been growing slowly for Bitcoin for several last years, but this year we see a slowing in terms of growth. So the number of unique addresses has been growing more slowly, and the number of transactions per day has been growing more slowly than it used to grow. Mining. So, as you probably know, in terms of consensus mechanism, we have proof of work consensus mechanism for the Bitcoin. And this is something what is called mining. So you have to mine transaction, and for when you do so, you get a reward in this particular system. And what we see from this slide, the mining activities are concentrated in China. And it's very important to remember this. Why? Because we have capital allocated for these activities there. And it's a huge capital. And what is more important, these activities were heavily subsidized. So the price for electricity is quite high in China, but the local governments, they paid subsidies to the miners. In terms of exchanges, and also very nice slide. So we had activity concentrated in China for the last 2 years, but in the beginning of the 2017, there were restrictions introduced by the Chinese government, and we saw some diversification. So right now, we do have exchanges in Asia as well as in America. Ethereum. In terms of price volatility, so we see the same picture. So the price reacts on bad and good news. In terms of fundamentals, it's a different story. This system has been growing exponentially on year to year. And it is thanks to the number of apps that are being built on top of this system. What we will have Next.
Honestly, I feel like blockchain is on a slippery slope. They don't even see that we're a threat yet. If you have a decentralized entity that people can opt into, that starts performing services that the government used to provide, then what do you need these guys for? Bitcoin is the first real experiment in DAOs. It's the first DAO that ever existed. What's a DAO? Decentralized autonomous organizations. Basically, it's an autonomous organization. It's an organization in which you can interact with it without having to go through an intermediary. I think that's very important for us to have tools that are really censorship resistant. We have evolved so much as a society, but yet our governance structures are hundreds of years old. We had a long period of monarchies, right? And now it's a very centralized form of governance. And we had a great evolution with democracies, right? Spreading that power a bit more. Now, I would argue that corporations are superseding nation states in terms of their power. You're a digital serf right now, living on Facebook. You work the land, you work the feed, and they take all the benefit. They take all the value. Right? It's a free service where you work the product. Systems tend to perpetuate themselves. In other words, capitalism tends to do what's best for the market, maybe not what's best for all the individuals who comprise the market. Silicon Valley, they end up with projects or companies that are trying to solve very much first world problems. How do you get your food 5 minutes quicker? How do you get your food 2 minutes faster? Whereas with blockchain technology, we have the ability to fund initiatives that will produce true social good and provide value to those other value parts of humanity. This is the most egalitarian way to construct systems. The culture is moving faster than the nation state can handle. Right? We can have that same personal feeling that I have with my neighbor, with the people in a chat room. Traditional government institutions take tremendously long time to fail, and when they fail, there's usually violence. So we try not to let them fail. But today, we are in this very time in history that can actually try out new governance models and even all people getting killed because we can try those governance models from the comfort of our sofa. In the mathematical realm, we cannot tread the non-breathing with a gun because it's unstoppable. It's open source code. The cat's out of the bag right away when someone has the idea. Yeah, you can close doors and try to say, I'm an scientist and I proved something, but I'm not going to show you how I proved it. It's just where you download it from the internet, it's open source, you want to announce it, you do it, and you like it, you get started. And if we have means by which groups can connect to each other to form larger governance structures and govern the entire whole, then we have something that kind of is resembling a fractal structure. If you think about other examples of different organisms, you know, like beehives and ant colonies, or even just the human body itself is a bunch of cells and microorganisms that are all working together in a single like human body as their environment. But now what we have proliferating with crypto networks is actually these supranational protocols in which human activity can be governed on this international basis without nation states, without corporations. So what it allows is for people to come together from wherever, and they can interact together, they can make decisions, they can share in a common enterprise, and then they can all benefit together. Governance ends up being a really key part of making that work. And if you think blockchains from an evolutionary standpoint, this may be the most critical feature one can imagine. Any organization of any kind, from your mom and pop shop to your decentralized autonomous organization, can create an entity on Aragon's network and use it for all kinds of things, like their cap table, like payroll, to show where their finances are going, for voting, for upgrades, to the way in which that organization runs. Aragon is a tool that I think will spawn many different early attempts at centralized governance structures, which if implemented will be it's again two components. So the first one is the Aragon metaphor to build and govern organizations, societies, and protocols. And the other part is the first digital jurisdiction that has ever existed, the area network. It doesn't happen very often in the real world. It's rare to do set up a new central bank or a new government. So I think we're going to be in sort of this Cambrian explosion of experimentation on both of those fronts. And with any huge transition that happens in human history, they are very insistent in making us believe that we need them. So the incumbents are trying to use their marketing power, their communication power, their surveillance power to convince people that they still need them. That market and the people willing to figure it out that they don't. And that would be the end of this lecture.
Okay, so it's a very nice clip, and it tells a story, basically a decentralized P2P story. So we're moving towards a more flatter society, so to say, and we are moving towards decentralized organizations that could effectively govern themselves. And we're talking about different types of organizations, not only companies or governments. We're talking about any type of organization. And this organization will consist not only of people, different entities, they will consist of robots as well. So you all should understand this simple thing. So, and what do we have? We have a lot of blockchain projects in development stage, basically. All of them, I think, on this slide are in alpha or beta stages, or in the last stages of prototyping. And as you can see from these slides, blockchains could be used in different areas, totally different areas. Blockchain is not about financial services. It's about IoT, it's about transportational and logistics, about energy, etc., etc. So why? Because of the properties that we discussed. So we do need unchangeable databases if we want to create some nice supply chain management systems. And if we want to track the product from the early stage to the end customer stage. We do need smart contracts if we want to create the decentralized economy of robots. And these are the companies like IRA that are building such things. And they in talks with different car makers who want to have driverless cars that will be able to act like economic agents. And we do have some startups looking for the energy space, because any household could be a producer and a receiver of the energy, when especially we're talking about a renewable energy. And we do have some nice systems that could provide identification on blockchain. For example, UPod is running a pilot project with the local government in Switzerland, to government, and they put in people's identities on blockchain in order to use it later around the globe, starting from the Zug. And this is what we have, and these projects, they will appear on the market this year or next year, and you can test them, and I will advise you to try any of them at least. What do we have in terms of blockchain space? So it's a nice thing that we have a huge competition within this area. We had Ethereum for the last 3 years as the single system that allowed you to build blockchain applications on top of it, and had smart contracts and built smart contracts functionality. And now we have several companies building something similar, but not the same. So Tezos, EOS, Definity, and the like. So they want to have the systems that will provide developers with the same functionality as Ethereum, but would be better than Ethereum, because as you know, Ethereum has problems with scalability, huge problems, and the cost. Then what we have else in this area, we do have a huge competition between different companies in terms of blockchain systems that will provide bridges between different blockchains. So these systems, Cosmos, Polkadot, etc. So they want to create decentralized solutions that will allow you to transact and transmit different data from one blockchain into another, and use the data transmitted into the next blockchain, so to say. And this is very interesting because what we will have eventually in this blockchain space will differ greatly from what we have in terms of internet, because as you know, we do have TCP/IP protocol, and it's just single protocol that we have for the internet. And here we will have different blockchains that will be used as basic protocols, and then we will have another systems, decentralized systems, that will connect and transmit data between them. And each and every system that is presented here is blockchain-based, decentralized, and open source. ICOs. It's a very important topic because we had a huge problem several years ago with the funding, so to say. Never ever in the human history open source project were funded sufficiently, just because before blockchain, just before it was not important for the big corporations, and it was not important for the humans, because they couldn't see how they could get rewards back. So with the blockchain, we saw the rise of ICOs. Basically, it's crowdfunding mechanisms that allow you to put your money at an early stage into the idea that you want to be developed. And you do understand that this idea will be developed very transparently, so to say. So you will be able to monitor its development. You will be able to contribute to its development, and then you will get in return the tokens that will be liquid. So you will be able to get rid of the tokens via exchanges at any time you want. So it's a huge thing in terms of venture investment. And we saw the rise of ICOs in 2016. Then it was a boom in 2017. And in 2017, not only traditional blockchains were running ICOs, but also traditional businesses started running ICOs. However, you should remember that traditional businesses have all the limitations of traditional businesses. They are not open source, they're not transparent, etc., etc. So they are not similar to blockchains. They're even not global and not decentralized. So they couldn't give you the returns similar to blockchains because they're not similar to them. In terms of money usage, definitely, there are lots of scam projects in this area, and it's dangerous to invest in projects if you don't know what are they about. However, the projects that are blockchain projects and that raised money for building blockchain systems, so they do still have funds and enough funds to build the whole system and to develop it later on. So, and what is nice, that you can always track the accounts where they have their money. Sources of investments. So it's important to mention that last year we saw a boom of venture funds aiming at investing in this particular area. So more than 200 funds raised around $5 billion US, and these money are dedicated for blockchain space. The corporations, they are looking at this particular space as well. And there are two alliances that were built, Hyperledger Alliance and Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. And the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance is growing quicker than the Hyperledger Alliance. The corporations, they're using the code of Ethereum, public and open source code, and they're building private solutions trying to optimize their business processes. And as you should understand right now, any business process where you have a lot of different stakeholders that don't trust each other could be optimized with the help of blockchain. So what else? Regulation. Regulation is very important because it affects this area. And what we see here is very nice indeed, because we see competition again. And competition is always good, because different countries, they compete with each other, trying to provide the best conditions for blockchain startups. There are two categories of country, or three, I would say, three categories of countries. First of all, the traditional financial centers, because they really want to be prepared for the next future economy, so to say, blockchain-based economy. And Switzerland is leading, particularly because they right now really want to build a crypto valley there. So Zug Canton is the best place for any blockchain projects on this globe right now. Then we do have the second type of countries, like Japan or Germany. So the countries that put significant that really want to stay the leaders in terms of automation, and they understand how the smart contracts are connected to robots and automation. So they want to be able to move forward with blockchain as well. So, and then the third type of countries, these are the countries where we have a huge base of IT specialists, and this is Belarus, for example. So they had very nice legislation, very favorable to blockchain projects, because they have a lot of IT specialists who are building these projects. In terms of ICOs, the regulators are a little bit afraid right now because of the huge boom that we had in 2017. And they want to safeguard the investors. But then there is a competition between countries as well, because they do understand at the same time that they're competing for the venture capital. And this is what we have. So we have some countries allowing ICOs and providing services for ICOs, and then we do have some countries trying to restrict ICOs. And it's a very interesting story happening right now. In terms of global outlook, so I do think that we're living in a very nice time because we can shape the future of blockchains. So the sector is growing and we have a lot of projects in development. So and they attracted a lot of money, and they raised a lot of money. So they will be able to build nice systems, blockchain systems, and we do have a competition between different blockchain systems. So eventually we will have the best gaining the margin, and there will be not one or two projects, but many. So which is very, very good indeed. We do have a lot of investors looking at this particular area because of the returns, potentially huge returns. And it's good because we are talking about venture money and at the very early stage. So, and then we do have a competition between the regulators from different countries, trying to attract the best talent and trying to develop and to set up the new economy, blockchain-based economy, basically. So, and there are a lot of possibilities and a lot of opportunities in this area for everybody. I really do think so. Thank you very much.
Questions? Comments? Discussion?
Okay, no questions.
Okay, Marina, we will invite you to continue, and also Borja. Let's join us. We would like to organize something, a panel discussion actually. Okay, Marina. Sorry. Is it convenient for you to join? Two, and me, I will be standing.
The best thing is that I'm coming with my chair from home. So I always have a relationship.
Okay. Well, we will discuss the recent application of blockchain for business, for real business, actually real life business and enterprises, and some challenges and or traps business and enterprises meet today. And before we start, let me give a chance for you to introduce yourself, actually, because Marina just started with a presentation and didn't have a chance to tell a little bit more about yourself and Cyberfund as well. Okay, and then Borja, and then me.
Okay, so as I told you earlier, so we've been active in this area since 2014. We started basically some of my partners, they started mining Bitcoin in 2009. So and but in 2014, so we analyzed the whole space and figured out that it was a very nice space in terms of investments. And we started investing in this area. Then later we started developing our own blockchain projects, and so right now we do have several blockchain projects as well as fund that we are running, and we know each and every startup team that is active in this space.
Okay. We don't need this.
We don't need it. I think so.
I switched it just when Marina was talking. Okay.
Cool. It's very cool. So thanks. I'm Borja. I'm the Vice Dean of Data Science and Technology for IE, School of Human Sciences and Technology. We've been actively collaborating with IMAGURU in different spaces, and I think that one of the recent success stories that we have from this collaboration is a global tech lab that has been running with Oracle in terms of like defining different opportunities of how to use blockchain in different spaces, across sectors, and with different professionals. It went really, really well. And they got like, Renfe was there, Caixa was there, Santander was there, so very, very good. And now we're collaborating in terms of launching hackathons all around the world regarding like blockchain. So we will have one in Asia Pacific. We also had one here. We'll have another one here. So we're pretty active in this space. And I think to give a bit of context, it's like this collaboration comes because what we've seen in the market and what we see more and more, it's like there are tons of people that are talking about blockchain. I think it's something similar to big data, right? It's like everyone talks about big data, everyone talks about blockchain, but there are not a lot of coders that are able to develop those things, right? So people talk, but they don't walk the talk. So that's why it's like the collaboration with IMAGURU was key in terms of like finding that talent, bringing them to companies, putting them in contact, and being able to build different blockchain platforms that were working, and were pretty successful in the last hackathon, to be honest.
Yeah, thank you very much. And me again, Nastya Kamenkova. I'm a co-founder of IMAGURU. And actually, since we were based also in Belarus, and Belarus has become like a country which provides the world with tech talent, of course, we are focusing on rising this talent at IMAGURU. So Tanya mentioned already about IMAGURU Blockchain School. I would like to tell you a little bit more about this initiative. This school is particular for coders. In Madrid, we will focus and broaden our activities and invite not only coders but also business people and experts and blockchain enthusiasts as well. Well, in Belarus, this is a program, a very intensive program. We select developers who have experience and who have actually middle or high level, senior level of development. So, and of course, aware of different languages and technologies. Started from C and to front-end web technologies as well. So we organize this every day during 30 days, actually during 1 month. We meet together at IMAGURU Minsk every evening and actually code. We invite different speakers from all over the world who are practical who are owners of different platforms, who are actually owners of different blockchains and ideas, and who could actually share their experience how to code or how different platforms are organized. So we built this program in a way that everyone could be aware and could actually touch different platforms, popular platforms in blockchain. So in this way, we learn Bitcoin, Ethereum platform, of course, like a structure or frame for different other platforms, Exonom, Golas, Steam, and all these platforms are presented in our school, and our developers know how to code and work with these platforms. Also, blockchain school is all about ideas generation. So we try to enhance our developers with new ideas and encourage them to build teams around those ideas. So for that, we have different platforms and formats as well, events. For example, we organize IMAGURU weekend, where actually during several days we could take any challenge from our partners and also invite different people in our team. Actually, again, learn how to code, for example, smart contracts, everything we could learn for a weekend. Of course, the most effective platform for ideas generation and new new startups and new teams creation is hackathon. So hackathon, this is like a third part of our school. When we meet together, when we select different ideas, and our developers who graduate from the school, they could gather together around those ideas. And usually we have such an interesting insight. Usually from our hackathons, one or two teams continue their businesses, but regarding blockchain hackathon, half of the teams continue their teamwork and their businesses. And we see the reason of that is that, first of all, the database of developers we prepare, blockchain developers, is high. So I mean, the level of the developers is high, of course, because we select people to participate in our school. And we usually, together with Cyber Fund, focus on expertise and select each and every mentor and coach we invite for our school. And another reason for that is that blockchain, of course, has a wide range of opportunities for businesses, for startups. So they could unite, they could create the idea around any application of blockchain. And this is a huge market, growing market. So we have, usually at the hackathon, we have different ideas regarding different industries. So starting from education and fintech, of course, and ending governance and business structuring, etc. So let's try to discuss the topic of blockchain application in real life business and some challenges that companies and business face now. Well, I started from probably the very popular and first very popular and challenge which is regarding talent and looking for tech talent and selecting this talent. Probably this is the most important challenge right now. How to concentrate knowledge, how to concentrate talent, and how to prepare people for working with blockchain-powered projects. What do you think? And how to address this challenge for companies?
Okay, I will start. As in the one from university, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So it's true. It's like there's one thing that we're seeing, and blockchain is another example, right? I think that it's like when it comes to technology, it's like changing so fast that basically what we're lacking is the talent. The talent in terms of like how you develop it, but also the talent within companies in order to be able to understand the potential and the application. So there's one thing that I've seen across the world in my previous experience before going to university, because it's very recent. That was people were coming to you and were telling you like, I love blockchain, I want to have one. It's like, okay, you want to have one for dinner? Do you want to have one for breakfast? Or you want to have one in your company? I want to have one in my company because I heard that someone else has a blockchain, so I want another one. It's like, yeah, but I think that it's like, we still get it wrong, and that's part of the talent. It's like, basically, it's like, what is the problem that you want to solve? And once you want to solve it, is the technology the one that is suitable in order to solve that problem? And after that, you get into developing it, taking everyone, pulling it, and see how you're able to do it. But that's something that we still are lacking. And within companies, exactly the same. It's like I was going through that even this morning after at the end of the Tech Lab. And people were saying like, look, the major change that we have seen is that now people think about a problem and about a technology. And when we started this Tech Lab, people were talking about the technology and no one was focusing on the problem. No one at all. So that's a problem that we see within companies. So when you're trying to go to a company and say, like, look, this is going to streamline your costs and we can use it this way and it's much more transparent and we're giving you, it's like you really need time and you really need a lot of time in terms of like being able to say like, look, this works and it works this way, and it's good for you. And then it's like everything comes together, but it's like it takes time. So if you are developers, if you have like, if you're startups in the blockchain space, don't get frustrated when you're knocking at the door and say like, I want to make it work. It's like, it's not immediate. It's the first no, it's not because your solution doesn't work. It's because most probably they're not getting what's your solution. The second no has to do because they don't get the technology as such and what they're doing for them. And the third no is because they're starting to understand what you're doing and what you're saying. So you have to go there, knock doors, and continue. And I think that it's like that's the main problem that I'm seeing in terms of blockchain. Of course, it's like the talent pool that we have in terms of the developers, bringing them to life and being able to develop it. That's another whole big issue. All this mention in terms of like supply and demand of that talent is huge. It's much bigger than what we were seeing in terms of like data science 5-6 years ago.
So I totally agree with what you are saying. So the needs are very important, and it's very important to understand the needs basically. And in terms of blockchain, we're dealing with the startups basically, and they have to focus on the needs and target audience and the markets, right? And they could grow a product, so to say. In terms of talent, so we do know this problem because we faced it the first time in 2014, I do think so, and we started basically in Belarus developing the whole ecosystem from the scratch, just because we understand that Belarus has a lot of IT specialists, but then nobody understands blockchain quite well. And we do need some IT specialists for lots and lots of different blockchain projects. And so it's not easy to work with the talent, but then so we have a huge success in Belarus, and we do have a huge success in Ukraine and Russia as well, because these countries, they are IT-based countries, and so a lot of people, they go into IT and they work as outsourced engineers for American companies, European companies, so they have the ability to work and the knowledge, but then so you need to bring them into blockchain space. You need to show them how to do startup projects, because it's a little bit different. It's not like working similar to working in corporations, etc. So, and then we do hope that we will be able to continue in Europe as well.
Yes, exactly. Because yesterday we also had a conversation with a number of blockchain enthusiasts, and they say that once you could announce something in Madrid that, for example, we organize a weekend of coding or event of coding, and you will learn how to code, and you will learn Solidity, how to code smart contracts. So you will attract a lot of people, like you will be fully booked for such an event. Of course, the demand is huge, but on the other hand, speculation is huge as well, and it's hard to select and choose the right expertise. And in terms of different startups who provide with this expertise, we saw that, for example, for the recent years, a lot of blockchain platforms, they are actually better versions, like pilot versions. Some of them wasn't able to be compiled. Actually, some bugs were shown, etc., etc. And at our IMAGURU blockchain lab, we investigated and discussed also the future trend. And do you think that the next year will be a phase of moving blockchain-powered projects from a pilot version to a production, like phase where blockchain-powered startups will focus on products, like in terms of technically ready project and business ready project. What do you think about that? Or if not in the during this year, probably you foresee in which period of time?
Yeah. That's a tricky question, huh?
Yeah.
That's a difficult one. Well, it's quite interesting. Okay, I think that it's like, in my case, most of the times it's like I'm the one that is like trying to demystify different technologies, and this is not going to be an exception. I think that in terms of blockchain, it's like it has a lot of potential. I think that it's like the ecosystem is currently boiling in terms of like, okay, there are really good solutions. Maybe they're not still ready to scale up, but it's like if we compare to last year, there's an exponential growth in terms of like what we can see there in the market, right? So that's the first thing. In terms of next year, is it gonna be next year? Is it gonna be the next one? Oh, I would love to know it. If there's an ICO there, I will be the first one to go there. But the thing is, I don't know if it's gonna be the next wave, the next year. But it's like it's clear that the next wave, we're getting closer to it, and we're getting closer to it in terms of like, okay, we see more robust solutions in terms of like how they're working. We see more potential in terms of like scalability. And from an innovation perspective, it's like if we follow the curve with any other technology or any other product, it's like, I think that we've already passed the first phase 0 and phase 1. Phase 0 in terms of like in the ideation part in which everyone has ideas but there's no implementation. Then it's like the proof of concept or MVPs. It's like the MVPs out there that they're like super good. And now it's like we're picking that MVP phase and entering into something that is close to production. Who's gonna be the first one? Is gonna be the first mover, the one that is going to take it on? I'm not sure about that. Okay. But it's like they're quite there.
Okay, I would a little bit disagree because we've been monitoring this area quite close, so to say. And what we see right now, so we do have Bitcoin. And Bitcoin appeared in 2009, if you remember. So, and it is an early stage product. So it is a product, so it's the most robust system of all of them, but then it's an early stage thing. So, and looking at the price volatility, you can tell certainly that this is an early stage product because that there is not a big adoption, and then the technology is evolving. They had huge problems last year, and so it was not easy to reach a consensus, etc., etc. So, and then the next big system is Ethereum, and it's only 2 years old, I would say so, in terms of real usage, so to say, and it's a very super early age product as well, so it's developing very, very quickly, and they do have a nice ecosystem with lots of projects with tons of developers, and so they're the cleverest guys I've ever met. But then so they have huge problems that they have to solve, and they don't know how to solve them. And then they have to reach consensus in order to solve them. So, and it's not easy at all. So they just it's not only technical problems, but social problems as well because of the consensus thing. And we do have a lot of systems that are in alpha stage or testing stage right now, and building stage that want to compete with this theory. And we don't know how the developers will react. So will they switch to another systems, or will they stay with Ethereum? So, and then so we don't know how those systems will develop because they need developers. And so it will be very, very interesting. I do believe that we will see tons of pilots, and we will see tons of projects at different stages. And maybe eventually some of these systems, they will be some niche products, but then the more developers and the earlier they will come in this area, the better results we will see, the sooner we will see them.
Yes, of course. Guys, if you have some ideas, comments, because we really want this discussion should be not between
Let's make
us.
it a two-way discussion, right? Otherwise, we're centralizing the floor, so that's not our intention. So, of course, I feel free to.
Yes,
question.
yes.
Go ahead.
I want to apply for your school. I told it prerequisite for this because I work with Bobo, the show and the dinosaur language.
Yes,
Hey, starting with
very
basic,
easy.
So,
Yes, it's an easy question, of course. Yes, we will organize a school for developers and for business people, and even we prepare some formats where we could unite different kind of people, and we will announce that soon on our website imaguru.es, so that you could register, pay money, and you are in.
so basically, it will go in a one by one. It's like, I think that it's like your question is more in terms of like what are the skills that you require in terms of like being able to code in Solidity. Or in any other language that is applied. It's like you can also build blockchains in Python. So it's like it's exactly the same as Python. You already know the programmatic thinking. You already know how to do it. So it's gonna be easier than if you're someone that's starting straight from scratch. It's like I started coding. My first coding stuff was in BASIC, and I've gone through Fortran 77, Fortran 99, Fortran 2004. And after it's like I've been growing, but at the end of the day, it's like I think it's more the mindset in terms of like, okay, how do you apply it? And then it's like learning a language. It takes some time, but it's not impossible at all.
Yeah. And before the school, we would organize our blockchain weekend, where during, I don't know, 2 days, we will try to code smart contract. So you could try to code for 2 days.
Yeah, it's a taster, right? let's call it a taster.
Yes, and of course, if you don't like or do like this experience, you could apply for a 1 month course. Yeah.
We ask another.
Sure.
You said you had a pool of developers for blockchain. I had a project. Being hired some of your developers or you
That's a good one. So first I want to learn how to code, otherwise I want to hire developers. That's a business-oriented question.
Good question. If you have a project, then come join our hackathon. So, and participate in our competition, because hackathon, this is actually, does anyone knows about what is hackathon?
you can explain.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, sorry.
Good question.
Okay,
Yes.
let's do a different thing. Okay, let's make it more dynamic. So who knows? Who has been coding blockchain? Who has been using Solidity, Python to code blockchain? Which language?
No.
Okay, cool. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Both, meaning?
No answer.
Perfect. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Who has been involved at any stage in terms of projects that have to do with blockchain, maybe from the business side, maybe from the coding side, maybe from both, and is willing to share their experience? They're not willing to share their experience, or they were not involved in the project. There are 2 questions in one. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so who was involved in projects, in different projects in terms of blockchain? It's like, it's not just informative, but they've been like getting their hands dirty and rolling up the sleeves. Yeah. So what were you doing? Let's go ahead.
Well, so you know, it was disclaimer. So I work for Oracle.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So I wasn't involved in
In the tech lab.
the tech labs, but I know most people that were in the tech labs with me.
They were great.
Yeah.
Just let them know from my side. They were great. I saw them this morning and it was amazing. Like, impressive, honestly. I saw the guys. Perfect. So go ahead.
So yeah, so I'm one of the people that are looking at different blockchain projects. We're not doing lots of ourselves. We're working with partners, larger, smaller partners. And so we're looking to define use cases and customers and put that together. So one of my jobs is to validate. And I think going back to one of the things you mentioned in terms of where we are and the complexities of today is, you know, the fact that you can go to any website and you see here's 25 use cases for blockchain in this sector. And and between the ones that technically were complicated and the ones that probably will never have a sufficient return to implement them if they're ongoing, you probably get rid of 24 or 25 use cases, which is obviously a big problem. And so you have to, that's why we're looking at how can we qualify and do something that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't always have a return on it, but at least the basic concepts make sense. And hopefully at some point there will be a useful. So that's kind of more. So we have a lot of little things going on. Nothing in production.
Yeah.
But still, in general, in Spain, any projects, productions, even
Production.
What do you mean by production? What's the meaning of production, Tori? It depends. That's what I'm saying. It depends. So it depends. Let's do it that way. Yeah, I think that.
For blockchain, but there's nothing.
You mean on a global level?
Yeah, it's
At a country level, at a global level. So
only Spain, because I understand, as you explained before, that there's another country, they start something.
So, for example, it's like, okay, there's the blockchain that is Alastria, that is like used by different companies in Spain, but it's like, I think they're proof of concept. Like, I will never say that it's like they're into production. It's like just setting up a platform for other companies to go into that platform. So basically, it's like setting up like the standards in terms of others to develop applications. It's like, I think that's the most relevant one. In terms of application of blockchain to something like this, could be called production. Okay, the wholesale market, the electricity wholesale market in the Netherlands, Benelux, France is included. They're already trading on a blockchain. So they did the first one in, I think it was April last year.
Which kind of business they are using?
Which kind of business? Which kind of business is not? Which kind of business is not qualified to use blockchain? I think it's instead of thinking about the business, it's like what you have to think. It's like, okay, what are the needs that blockchain solves?
I understand the big change. You can use any sectors. Understand this, but actually, what they are looking for to use many big sectors. This financial sector.
The financial sector, from my perspective, it's like the financial sector is one application. One small application.
Small.
I think so.
Yeah.
The insurance sector, insurance companies, it's like are working really, are pushing really hard in terms of like using that. Energy sector is going crazy about that. Education is working on it in the States and South America. Retail all over the place, and Spain has some proof of concepts that are really interesting, and I know that Oracle has been involved with them and setting up the standards, and they are beautiful. It's like I was looking at the project and it was amazing. So, which one is not involved?
So I think it's many of us here are new in the subjects. They can see.
Yeah, go.
So you said that you have a school. You make a school here for prepare people for application. Only for application, yeah. So you want, if I'm not a developer, I can get for something which is related with blockchain project. Well, you should be a technical like developers or regards to code applications or something.
She's the boss. She's the one that says yes or no. So.
We don't know what the process which involves state establish any application project for blockchain. So nobody knows, I think, how this works. So this is, I think, it involves also to know about before starting developing
applications or blockchain. Yeah.
Okay, I do believe that it's a little bit a misconception that blockchain is only developers.
Yep.
So actually, a blockchain per se is an economic system. If we're talking about Ethereum, it is an economic system, and it should be at first constructed like an economic system. Because later on, you will face a lot of problems if you are not able to construct it properly at the beginning. Because you need to put the economic incentives, you have to put it right, you have to set up a consensus mechanism, you have to set up it right, etc., etc. And it's pure economy, because you will have a demand and supply and for your tokens, basically, and you will have a crypto exchange, which will allow you to transact, but then, so you need to understand what exactly and who will use your tokens and who will get them as rewards. So it's an economic system. So each and every blockchain is an economic system. This is the first thing. So each and every foundation needs economists and managers, etc., etc. That in terms of corporations, what we were talking a little bit earlier about, it's the needs and the problem that the companies have to understand. So basically, they have to start with the problems, with the needs of the target audience, and then they have to find the proper solution, technical solution. So they have to go to the market and analyze what are there for them, ready to use and apply to this particular case. And so they do need business people who know and understand the problems and who could find the perfect fit in terms of solutions to the problem. So it's not about developers, it's also about managers, it's also about economists, etc., etc. So it's like,
I think there are three things there, right? It's like, so just a bit to summarize what you've said, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So I think that it's like, there are three angles to think about when you're thinking about blockchain, and we can split it into 10 or 33. But it's like, to keep it super simple. It's like, one has to do with the business purpose. It's like, what's the purpose? It's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to solve? And that's the most important one. That we take you to the second level. And the second level is, okay, what is the mechanism that you want to implement in order to solve that problem, that issue, or go for that opportunity? We're not talking about coding, we're not talking about the technical side, no, we're talking about potential solutions. Once you have those solutions, it's like, okay, does it fit in terms of like the technologies that you have? And then you will go through the whole array of technologies that you have and say like, okay, I'm going to pick blockchain because it seems from the definition of the problem that I want to solve that it makes sense. And then it's like, you will start getting into, okay, am I going to code it this way or this way? Is this language better or not better? Do I need developers? Do I don't need them? It's like you will review your consensus mechanism in order to see if your definition of the problem was the correct one or not. And then you will come back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you implement it. But the thing is like, as we were saying during the, and you were saying during your nice presentation, it's like, I think that basically it's like the first part is think about the problem you want to solve. More than coding and all that stuff. Like, I saw it in the previous revolution when everyone, well, revolution or evolution more than revolution, everyone was talking about data science, let's do this.
The business side, not the blockchain side. I mean, we are interested to learn about blockchain in general. Yeah? Regarding, I think it's for we are interested to know about money. Like me, I'm new in this. I don't have any background about it. But I think this blockchain already exists to solve many problems in any business side. So it can cover many advantages. They can use in many sectors. And okay, there's many problems, but
no, not many problems. It's like, define the problem, one. And if you're able to solve one with a blockchain and scale it up, you're done, man. You're gonna be flying. But for the moment, it's like, first, think small. Or maybe it's like try it small and think huge, but try it small in terms of saying like, okay, what's the problem that I want to solve? Business one, business-wise. And I think that it's like the use cases that we're talking about now, it's like, it's a good way of getting the examples of how things are working, how they're not working, what they say that they work, but like from the 25 that you can read, maybe like half of it or parts of them. But I think that it's like, the most important one is like define the problem that you want to solve.
Yeah, I think he's talking about a different thing. I think he doesn't have expertise in blockchain. He doesn't understand it. He wants to understand first blockchain,
how it works,
and then see, okay, now understanding how it works.
Yeah, I understand how it
works. Okay.
Okay.
So now I'm also two of us are lost.
Okay.
Because let's go into the question. Perfect.
So you could think about blockchains as products per se. So look at the big problem. So it's a product. So it's a product. It has a market. It solves a problem. So and it's similar to PayPal. So in terms of product, it's similar to gold. So and then each and every blockchain is a product, and that's why I'm talking about them being an economic system. Okay, and then if you start learning about them, so you will see different products, and you will understand what they are aiming at. So and they're aiming at solving some problems, real world problems. So but then because of the properties that technology has, so we do have global products from the very beginning in this area, in blockchain area. So when we're talking about pure blockchains, public blockchains, then, and this is a whole different sector when we're talking about corporations that can use blockchains to solve their own business problems, so also real life problems, but then they also have to start with the definition of the problems they want to solve. So, and then they should find the best solution on the market, because we have very many different blockchains, and they're different from each other. So you don't have to use Ethereum. Always, absolutely. Because it's not the best solution for each and every problem. For God's sake.
So, and how to solve your problem, right? So again, if you would like to be involved in business side of blockchain, of course, we would organize a specific school for business people, where, of course, from basic information about blockchain economy and how it works, we would dig deep in specific industries and application, implementation of blockchain in different industries. So then again, during our weekend events, we could use try to let people take your challenge. When you, for example, pitch your idea, or like Borja said, take it simple, take it small. When you take your idea, your simple idea, and try to challenge different other people to solve this idea. And of course, for that, you would need a team. And for that needs, we organize hackathons. Hackathons, this is a competition, a platform where different ideas and teams meet together. It lasts 48 hours without stopping. Again, 48 hours without stopping.
No. We're ringing a bell every half an hour. Just in case someone is sleeping.
We start on Friday evening when people, business people, marketing people, developers, designers, different enthusiasts come together at IMAGURU, and we start from ideas generation and ideas pitching. Everyone who has an idea could pitch to the audience and say that in order to implement this idea, we need that and that, that and that. Developers or business people, vice versa. And of course, in the end of this Friday evening, we have a huge number of ideas. And of course, we'll select the best one, like market does, actually. So what does it mean? You need to create your own team, attract talent to you. So you need to be a charismatic leader. You need to have a very sexy idea. So
Excuse me. We don't select. So it's
yes,
as you said, it's not our
not me.
People.
Yeah.
It's a consensus.
So we don't take
Exactly.
any decision on this level. So on the final pitch event, yeah, there's a jury panel, so we can say our opinion about what the
Of course.
teams are doing. But the very, very first selection is actually it's sharing economy. So yeah.
Yeah, only we don't accept solo teams. I mean, you need to have someone in your team. And then during 48 hours, you need to develop your prototype. This is like a criteria for any hackathon. You need to develop a prototype during 48 hours. It's possible to concentrate it, and of course, we create an atmosphere of concentration and competition so that you could actually develop your prototype and show on Sunday evening to the audience, where we, of course, attract our mentors, because during these 48 hours, we enhance you with new knowledge. We attract mentors on the platform who help you developing your product, give quick feedback or not quick feedback, long feedback, who could enhance you with new contacts and new expertise. And we also organize master classes for the community so that your team and you could be could reach new expertise as well. So, and in the end, on Sunday evening, you pitch your ideas, you sell these ideas to the audience and show your prototype, and we select the best teams, like finalists. And so, why do you need to participate in the hackathon? Because in the end of the hackathon, you need you got everything that you need for starting up your company: a team, a prototype, a good idea, and a good push to boost your project and to continue. So that is why if you have a project and you are looking for developers, like you said, and probably you are looking for new ideas and team to develop something. So this is a good start and a good way to organize, actually to start. And what differs us from other hackathons and schools, that of course we focus on practical side. We for hackathons in Madrid, we bring developers from Eastern Europe in order to help and exchange the expertise. For our schools, we select mentors who are have practical expertise, who could share and who could give you the recent trends and the recent knowledge and information, because for such technology, this is critical. Yeah. Oksana, you wanted to add something? No? Okay, we're far away from this topic. The last thing I wanted to discuss with you, this is blockchain technology, but we have also a bunch of technologies which are now very popular. For example, technology related to big data, artificial intelligence, and different other technologies, Internet of Things. And also, what do you think about combining all this technology and also future trends, like from your perspective, like experts? What which technology will be combined. I mean, is it possible at all to combine those technologies and recent trends? What do you think about that?
So it is possible to combine these technologies, and we see nice examples because there are several projects that aim at bringing artificial intelligence on blockchain, VR on blockchain, AR on blockchain, and certainly blockchain is about big data basically. So you can do everything because the data are open, but then you need to know how to analyze this data. And we do believe that we will see projects similar to Watson, for example, but decentralized Watson, which will be more beneficial to everybody. We will see decentralized Google, we will see decentralized Amazon, etc., because these projects, they're peer-to-peer projects, but then there are big companies profiting from all of us, and they will be disrupted. So no way. And then there are tons of opportunities. I mean, for people who understand some of these nice technologies and just don't know blockchain, they need to connect with the blockchain developers, and then suddenly they will see how they could beneficially build some project on top of the blockchain, because blockchain is for everybody.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, blockchain is like with all the applications is a distributed database. So at the end of the day, if you have the data on a database, what can you do with that data? It's like, well, tons of things. It's like, there are no limits in terms of, I think that it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, it comes again to the same question. It's a revolving question, right? It's like, it's a matter of saying like, okay, you have which problem and what opportunity you want to seize in terms of like going for it or pursuing it. It's like artificial intelligence back in the 50s or right now. So we have the computing power in terms of being able to use something that was developed in the 50s. But if you look at the algorithms, they haven't changed. Like, they are a bit more efficient, but they haven't changed. And the things like, but now we can use it with photographs in order to do it well. When Google was starting, they were tagging photographs manually. Now, we're going to use artificial intelligence. And then when we use artificial intelligence to do something, then it's not artificial intelligence. And the best example for me is like, okay, it's like when you're making a prediction about weather, making a prediction about your route and all that stuff, it's like, okay, that's not artificial intelligence anymore. Well, it was at some point. And now it's not artificial intelligence anymore. And then the next part, it's like, once it's done through artificial intelligence, it's not artificial intelligence anymore. And most probably it will be how was it called? Google was doing with DeepMind and this game Go, right? Yeah, so that's not artificial intelligence anymore because it has been, they have been able to do it through deep learning. So I think that it's like the space for collaboration within different technologies is huge. I think that us as human beings, it's like we haven't reached the potential. We're not even close to reach the potential of what is the meaning of putting all those technologies together in terms of like taking time out of or giving us back some time in terms of like considering like further innovation. And once we start pulling things together, it's like, I think that that's the really exponential change that we're going to be seeing. And I think that it's like right now, at the moment in which we are from a technology development perspective, like thinking about a technology in isolation, from a company perspective, it will mean suicide. And from our perspective as humans, it's like I think that we have to think in a holistic way in terms of like how we solve different issues with different technologies that are at our reach.
Okay, yeah. Comment?
And I think it's like a catch-22 where what comes first, the answer or the question? Absolutely. Right? I'm here, we're on bike sharing solutions, and we're trying to find ways. I'm here to find out what blockchain is going to mean to our business, right? So I think, and to this point, I think what we're trying to identify is what is blockchain's sweet spot, if there is any, and it seems that not yet, right? The technology is not yet there. Obviously, it has a lot of success in the financial markets, but I've heard a lot that it will have some other implications in other markets. So
I think that it's like, I think that that's, or at least from my perspective, and this is my personal opinion, that doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, it's my personal opinion, right? And I'm super happy to be challenged in that. The thing is, I think that there's still a huge confusion in terms of like blockchain and Bitcoin or any kind of token that has an economic value. It's like, okay, blockchain is a database. It's like that you can use in different ways. It's a distributed database. To give you an example in terms of sweet spot, it's like I have been implemented in the year 2014-15. It's like a blockchain within an oil and gas company that was all around the world. It's still working and it's done for several things. The tokens didn't have an economic value. It was they were used for talent analytics. It's a blockchain. It is a blockchain. So the thing is it the best one? Is it in production? Well, when I left the company, I thought, yes, it's in production. And maybe they say, no, you know what? It's like we can add a layer of artificial intelligence on top and then do something else. And we were trying that. So for me, it's not in production, it's something that is tried. In terms of moving through different sectors, it's like if you see sector by sector, it's a matter of what you're saying. It's like once you get to a solution, then you see a solution on top of that solution, and then a solution on top of that solution. So it's very difficult to say that what's the end solution. There's one thing in the economy of platforms that works in a different way to the traditional economy as we know it. So in the traditional economy, we have an economy of rents, in which it's like, okay, the one that is there is like you're building, it's like your barriers of entry, and then you're grabbing all the rents of having that economic system or model working or business model working. When you're in a platform one, it's like basically all of them compete until one is the winner. And the one that is the winner is able to get the critical mass is the one that takes all. In this case, I think that it's like, and that's a real challenge in terms of blockchain. It's like, what's the meaning of critical mass? And no one knows it. No one knows it. It's like, if you talk to different people, it's like we can open a survey monkey, and I'm sure that everyone will say critical mass is totally different. The consensus mechanism, this one is the one that is not working, this one is much better. I think that there's no right or wrong solution. I think that it's like, there's no way in which we know, or at least it's like in my professional experience, I've never seen or received an answer in terms of like critical mass for a blockchain is this, production for a blockchain is this. And applications on a blockchain, it's like we can say that they're working and they're stable when they reach this point. It's like we don't know. We don't know. It's like we were able to know what was a platform economy when Google was already running for 10 years. Now we say, hey, we understand platform economies, and all of a sudden Amazon appeared. And it's like, oh, okay. We understand platform economies or we understand monopolies. So it's a monopoly or it's a platform economy? How does it work?
Thank you very much. So we worked hard, but now we have questions to you. This
was a two-way, right? So
only one. Okay.
Flipping.
Only one. What exactly do you like most in blockchain? What exactly? Why do you like blockchain? Because you are all here interested in blockchain. We would like to learn. Please.
For me, for example, what hopefully is the transparent.
Transparent.
For example, now in this society, very dark. For example, in Spain, famous scam, the president of the community falsificated the degree of the master.
Mm-hmm.
If we use blockchain, we not discover 4 years later. We discover the moment because it's transparent. Other people see what you do, and other people self-confident in the community. And there are a group of people that the notes affect the transaction. For me, is the most valuable part. Mm-hmm. Usually in the project, the model of governance you can use for make a better society.
That's a very good point. For example, MIT has already an open source blockchain that they're using with different tokens in terms of like putting their search into that blockchain and tokens and say like, okay, there's not any more people going LinkedIn and say like, hey, I've gone to MIT because I was visiting MIT and then coming out. It's like you have to go through a course and they are giving you a token in terms of being able to certify that you have been in MIT.
Mm-hmm. What else? Please. Okay.
I'm very interested in blockchain because I have Actually, this insurance company, working insurance company, and I think that blockchain is very impact in this field. I'm recent in blockchain because I'm studying as well. I'm a master. My thesis about blockchain insurance and sector. Blockchain is really important in the future in this field. With smart contract for claims, for reinsurance, for how do you say fraud in English?
Fraud.
Yeah. I think that in the future it's very impact in this issues.
True. So 2 things to check there. It's like 1, check Lemonade as an insurance company and how Lemonade is building their Lemonade 3.0 on a blockchain, which is a proof of concept for the moment. And then Lemonade might be a proof of concept or not. And insurance companies and so it's like currently in Spain, it's like they're working together in terms of like building a blockchain, which they only will have access to see like the small claims that you have between cars and that, to clear them automatically and not to need like human intervention to make it like faster. So again, it's a proof of concept, but to which extent is a proof of concept?
Who else would like to share his views?
I think a voting system in blockchain would be with tokens for which voters be against fraud, any kind of fraud, as I've seen in the United States or Venezuela or Brazil or other countries.
So you guys are more interested in voting, education, insurance, and all that stuff.
Voting, for example, there's one state in the United States that is currently using blockchain in terms of smart contracts in terms of voting, and Delaware. He was using it for 2 things. First, for the voting stuff, and then in order to register companies. It's like basically in Spain, I know you need like 1 month or something like that in order to register a company. There are some cases in the UK, it's like you need 24 hours. In Delaware was like in 3 hours, something like that. You had like everything registered. Basically, you were entering, you were submitting all the information, like everything was fine. You had it on the blockchain. And Estonia is doing something like that with the e-government, and it's huge. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We have a lot to learn from them, from a digital perspective.
If you're interested, by the way, we could organize something like study tour to Estonia, because we are insiders in this Eastern European community. So just let us know.
Last Friday, I was with a friend from Brazil, and he was telling me that 13 enterprises were moved from Brazil to Spain.
Wow.
For the facilities. And
Well, does anybody like to share more views? Okay, let us thank our panelists, our great speakers. Thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to invite Tanya Marinch on the stage for closing remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. Well, as you see, we talk English today, and that's a great thing. Well, we were announcing the event in English, and we were hoping to get a truly international audience for this event. And the reason is, IMAGURU is a truly international company, and the topics we discuss here at IMAGURU are truly global. Blockchain, technology, and all of the problems we're trying to solve, they are global. So I hope English language today is not a barrier, it's an opportunity, as always. So I would like to invite you to all of our events where we really plan to organize here at IMAGURU, the hackathon, meetups, blockchain meetups. They will be organized in English, I'm sorry, but I think, again, it's an opportunity. We will be able to invite, and we are able to invite, very good top-level speakers from the US, Eastern Europe, European countries, who will share their blockchain experience with the audience. For example, the next hackathon, April 20th, there will be 2 American speakers, mentors, who will work closely with each team, helping build the prototype during, as Nastya said, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Plus, we'll have coders, developers, blockchain developers from Eastern Europe, from Belarus. And our role here will be make sure that each team that will be selected by the audience has at least one developer who will work with the team, helping the team build prototype. That's very important. And now I invite you to network. We prepared some beer for you, some wine, so please, that's not the end. We would like to learn more about you. We would like to share more personal insights about IMAGURU. So please stay with us some more time, and we're happy to invite you for drinks. Thank you.
Sí, bueno, ahorita por ahora estoy aquí en Madrid, pero más que nada también tratando de sociedades con una compañera en China, en Taiwán, y o sea, por hacer el tema de los Estados Unidos es difícil, por la vacación, ¿cómo se llama? No, aquí todavía no estamos quedando. Es el único lugar donde estamos quedando de Colombia. La compañía de electricidad de Colombia, Seguro Bolívar, tenemos varios clientes, pero los Estados Unidos es un complicado y yo tiene que salir de los Estados Unidos por el tema de en Colombia. En los campos muy bueno, no, sí, bueno, o sea, los Estados Unidos hemos quedado en esas dos ciudades. Miraflores, creo que sí habían quedado de pero que tampoco lo somos bien. Pero ya tenemos un sistema que va a tratar de entrar a los Estados Unidos. Bueno, o sea, es un programa de, por ejemplo, el campus de telefónica en la casa. Entonces, provee el sistema de bicicletas para los empleados, el almuerzo, la prestación inicial, ese tipo de cosas, los agradecimientos. Y bueno, en Colombia no se dio porque Bogotá no mucho. No sé, por la calle, bueno, sí, tampoco, lo que pasa es que en Colombia también mucha gente no tiene casa. Y el sistema de transporte público no funciona. Entonces es como un tema de... Pero en los Estados Unidos estamos tratando de hacer un medio específico que son ciudades específicas que tenemos un viso de que las inglesas igual que Pablo, o sea, detrás de secos, Andrés, Manuel, sí, bueno, aquí se hay varias cosas, al final, ¿qué tal? De repente,
Es súper competitivo, pero yo lo que veía, el caos. Las que veía, eran ruedas sólidas. Ok. Entonces le montabas en la línea y era, o sea, y además, que no era muy, o sea, no era muy bueno, o sea, que como que no tenías el control normal. Las que eran más duras y igual que las que aunque sabes los de G, como le decíamos, esto es como, o sea, no es eso es parte de bicicletas, la gente los abandona y los aparca. No, espérate, ahorita el tema de la bicicleta, para que era la bicicleta también tiene este negocio, porque si no se viene, no va a tener un negocio particulares, o sea, pero sí, bueno, o sea, yo, por ejemplo, ya igual, metido en una parte, un brazo, metido en porque obviamente, ahorita lo que viene con el shared economy, todo eso, hacia ese lado, que vaya a llevar a la otra esa industria de la cosa, pero definitivamente, y es un tema, por eso nosotros también estamos haciendo bien específico, que es de lo que estamos viendo, y en una zona hay salud. ¿Tú eres de aquí? Para llegar sí, bueno, nosotros no tenemos todavía o sea, por eso es que el blockchain y otra cosa y estaban haciendo bueno, y también es como que va a llegar más también de ver el cambio de seguridad de esa Y no es negociado de contratos, no. O sea, el tema es que a mí no me quisieron preguntar el pasaporte cuando lo vi, me suena, y la otra vez una visa inicial, es una visa familiar, y ahorita tengo que preguntar fuera y bueno,